And there I was, dying on the floor, abandoned by the woman that just ruined my life and bleeding onto the dirt-cheap trench coat I had rode in on. The time was later than anyone who could have cared would be awake at, and all of the training I'd felt throughout the year seemed to float back in only a sea of stupidity and nihilism about what I thought I could have done and when I should have done it. You see, in this area, crime runs rampant in the streets and affects us all. I'd seen the worst of it, come through on the top of a detective agency that feasted on all topics on the area. There was not a damn thing I hadn't heard in my time, and not a damn thing I hadn't escaped from by the tip of my hat. I'd been in the office earlier this week when I had received a call. A young woman walked into my office, hat strapped to her head and a look in her eyes that said no matter what I did, nobody would believe me anyway. She presented me with a case, one so dangerous it would make the skin on your face crawl from just being in the room with her.
Sorry to bother you, but this is an emergency.
State your case?
I'm here to report a series of murders in the area. It's hardly my business to say, but I think I've noticed a pattern. He tends to prey on the naive, which most con men do, before it escalated to a much more serious crime. If we don't do something soon, more people are going to get hurt.
Alright, I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, fill in this crime sheet. I have a tendency to these things, where I'll insert myself into only the most dangerous of situations, barely a plan and hardly a reason to proceed. It was a defying trial, one our innocent neighborhood hadn't seen in my whole career, one I already knew could be dangerous. So I knew I had to be careful. Anything could go wrong, and one small move could be the death of me. Until on one night, it was a walk back to the office, when I ran into a young woman walking alone. Interested in nothing more than her safety, I attempted to talk to her. She told me about herself. She told me she was staying here, alone, and that she'd only recently moved to this area. She then told me she'd been on a walk home and was thankful for me asking her to take her. Of course, it had been immoral to tell her of why, especially, so I didn't. And I took her by the hand without a further word. She seemed very grateful. When we arrived by her doorstep, she thanked me and went inside, and I felt a sense of relief in knowing that she was none the wiser. It was around this point when I began to get more information about the murders around me. The man they were led by had a beard of black facial hair and had been set to lure people from public areas. He's also known for a white handkerchief which he flashes to his victims before he takes them. With all this information, it's a miracle I never had the chance to catch him sooner. It was a week later when I had seen the same woman again. She'd been buying her groceries, and this time she decided to make conversation with me instead. I asked her on a date. She accepted, and I met up with her next at the restaurant nearby. It was a fancy place, and I thought it would be enough to spend time with a young lady to distract me from work, case or none. Excuse me for a second. I think I have something I might need to sort out. Excuse me, have you seen the woman that was here? I fear my leaving may have offended her more than I was expecting it to. Oh, I wouldn't worry about that, sir. Seems she left the second the fight started. Wherever she is, though, it's better than staying here. Bless her old heart. It was the last time I'd seen her in a while, and I had mostly put it behind me, knowing this was now more important than I had ever put in perspective. It was only one night, when I had a dream, that I decided to backtrack on my rule of declining it completely. I arrived, and the door was left wide open. Thinking against my better judgment, I walked in for the first time. I heard the girl scream, a vicious noise from the other room. In that moment, I knew my time for procrastinating my choices was over. I had one of two decisions to make. On one hand, I could try and remedy the situation, leave, and try to find weaponry, help, or I could sort it out myself. I made a choice. A last second choice. The house seemed empty. I went forward, towards the screen, and just like that, he had me.